okay,
who have deep pockets may be able to face this easily, but all those SME will definitely have a problem.
if
See,
I can
other
get
point is, on the one hand, Reserve Bank of India is trying to reduce money supply into the market by various measures.
true,
But Finance Ministry is allowing FDI to come in a big way.
true,
There is a contradiction between Finance Ministry and Reserve Bank of India. They will have to sort it out, which way we want to go. On the big developers are able to get a lot of FDI, so they have deep pockets now.
Sure.
They will be able to do better and hold on, and the price correction will not happen. So I think there should be both the Finance Ministry and the Reserve Bank of India should sit together and sort this out.
You know, Mr. Kumar, what you say, this dichotomy is quite evident. You know, the Finance Ministry's policy is always towards home loan seekers and home loan banks and institutions, but it has not been very charitable with the developer community, if you take the whole chunk of them together. That's very true. Now, my question is, how has the situation been abroad? Is it as bad as it is in India for home loan seekers?
If you take US for example, the subprime crisis has taken it's blown away the home market in the United States, and in other parts of the globe also, the increase in oil prices and other things, though the economy is such that the affordability of the home seeker is badly affected. In fact, even Finance Ministry, I wouldn't say even they are also very soft towards home buyers, because increase in taxation, increase in material costs are anyway affecting even the consumer.
Okay.
It's not only affecting the home builder, it's also affecting the home seeker. I do not know who is really being helped. Nobody seems to be being helped except the FDIs into real estate.
Can I get Mr. Sundar in here? Mr. Sundar, can you tell us how the banking industry abroad have been able to deal with the situation?
Will you please repeat?
I'm asking you about the global situation. How bad is it even in the developed countries when it comes to home loans?
Okay, subprime crisis is still not completed. It's still having the effect. Every quarter after a quarter, financial institutions are declaring more losses. That problem is not yet solved overseas. Such being the case, credit availability overseas remains very tight. With the result, the spreads are increasing, credit spreads are increasing. As Mr. Kumar has told already, FDI coming into India and all that, it becomes difficult. Even the big developers find it difficult to raise finances overseas, where the credit spreads are very much higher. And Reserve Bank has put a ceiling of 350 basis points for borrowing from overseas. At this spread, they are not able to get the funds. Such being the case, I think the global effect of tightness in credit will definitely be available in India also, and it will push up the rates furthermore.
Mr. Sundar, now that you are here, I'll ask you the earlier question again. You know, SBI says that it will absorb the cost that is being imposed on it because of the repo rate hike. Will the other banks also be able to do that and save the home loan seekers from the hike?
See, repo rate hike you should not see in isolation. It is not just, it is only a signal Reserve Bank has signified for the increase in rates.
But don't you think it's
As
also...
Mr. Bhatt has already said, he is not going to increase the rate. It's only for the present. So no matter, as I already told you, the inflation is 8.75 this week. Next year they are expecting around 10%. Such being the case, RBI will further swing into action and move up the CRR. So this is all an indication to banks that they have to pass on these effects to the ultimate consumers. In the result, borrowing lending rates of banks have necessarily to be increased.
Which then would you also agree that if they can you hear me?
It's going to have a very bad.
Mr. Sundar, so does that mean that if the inflation goes up to 10% as expected by industry as well as the corporates, the hike in CRR also will be about 100 basis points, which will be a huge hit?
The CRR could be raised by 50 basis points immediately to be increased later.
Oh, I see. So I guess from the two guests today, we have learned one thing, that the situation is extremely grim. Real estate sector, which includes home loan seekers, home buyers, infrastructure, real estate developers, everybody might have a very hard time in the near future, in the near term. And that's what most of the reports have also been reporting on. Thank you so much for watching this special edition of Idea Exchange. If you have any more suggestions, or you strongly feel about these issues that we discuss in this particular program, you can write to us on editorial@realestatetv.in. For the time being, keep the good thing going, and thank you for watching.
In this walk of life, what is it that you're looking for?
Joy.
Security.
Peace, togetherness.
Shelter.
Warmth.
Comfort.
Family.
Home.
Let's go home.
Welcome back to another episode of Home is Where the Heart Is. Today we meet possibly one of Goa's finest fashion designers, and he's also apparently one of the top 10 designers in India. Now, this man has had shows all over the globe in Paris, New York, UK, etc., just to name a few. And in addition to all that, he's had the distinction of dressing up the creme de la creme in the Bollywood film industry. Today we meet Mr. Wendell Rodrigues. We are here with Mr. Wendell Rodrigues, and I must say thank you so much for seeing us amidst your hectic schedule.
My pleasure.
Excellent. Before we sort of move on, would you sort of quickly tell us what it is that you're up to today, as in what's current with Mr. Rodrigues?
We have just come back from Pattaya, where we've tied up with Bombay Dyeing to launch a range of bed linen.
Right.
So, that occupied a lot of our time after I finished off with the Lakme Grand Finale, which I just completed.
Right.
On the 2nd of April.
Okay.
It's been a very hectic year. We've in the last 9 months done shows. I think we counted yesterday that we did about 20 shows in 9 months, which is like quite a lot.
Amazing.
And it's been a very busy time, but above and all of this fashion work, we are coming out with a book on the 13th of May, which is a book on Goa. It's a coffee table book on Goa with Mr. Raj Salgaonkar and two other celebrated writers, Victor Ranjal Ribeiro and Mario Cabral. So that's going to be exciting to look forward to, because I think Goa deserved a big, coffee table book on Goa.
Absolutely.
And that's been going to occupy my next week, I think.
Right. Right. Now, could you tell us a little bit about this place? As in, how long have you had it?
We bought this house actually from a lady. I think it's 93. So we've been in it since then.
Right.
In 1993, I bought it. It was soon after the Bombay riots, and I didn't want to. Well, I studied in Paris before that, and had kind of made up my mind that I was not going to settle in Bombay because I didn't want to have a visual bombardment for the influence of my work.
Right.
And I wanted to come to Goa and use, the whole Goan environment towards creating clothes that had a resort flavor, that was eco-friendly, etc. So when the Bombay riots happened in '93, I was quick to move out of there and come and I was fortunate to get this house.
There's a fair bit of gardening that we see. I mean,
that is all my contribution, because every Sunday I do my garden.
Right.
This is slightly the hot weather, and we are at the end of our flowering season, so it's not in its best state. But yeah, I enjoy doing the gardening every Sunday. We maintain it, and it's very relaxing, therapeutic after dealing with fashion. This house, actually, to start with, we need to talk about the walls, because it was the first wall that was built in the village. In the earlier Goan villages, there were a cluster of houses around garden patches. And hence, till today, I think 450 years later, it's still called the walled house, because it was the first wall of that height that was in the village. And it's
so you're saying that wall's 450 years old?
It is a little, approximately that much. And yeah, it's one of the very high walls in the village. It's the only wall, I think, which has got a tiled surface on it, and hence it's called the walled house. Even now, by the villagers, just gone through generation.
Right.
And when I inherited the house, actually, it came with a French pattern garden here, which is at the moment in a state of mid-use, because they're just planting some of the seeds.
Right.
But the garden wasn't in this state. I kind of planted it and created the trees. I planted trees that are local. I planted trees that would attract flowers. Like, I mean, this one attracts lots of very tiny birds.
Right.
And also, we added later on other fruits that the birds would enjoy. Like, we have a big mulberry tree in one corner, which the squirrels and the birds get to.
Of course.
And when you enter the house, part of the house was built, it was just the lower section, where we have out here 9th century Vishnu from South India.
Right.
Since it's a protector, I kind of kept it at the entrance. But the real, after the upper story was built, with the Portuguese influence, they wanted to have these big salons and rooms, so they began to use this staircase to go up instead of entering the house through the main entrance that was created originally. Interestingly, the whole house is done according to Vastu, because the main door opens on the east, the water body is in the perfect space, and when I had a Vastu person come in here, he said that it was done in perfect Vastu, so it really harks back to a very early Hindu period. And interestingly, it's also a very serene house in terms of, giving a lot of positive energy that runs through the entire house. I use this area a lot because it's at an elevation. As you can see, I'm writing a little piece of paper on Goan identity, and I like it also because it's kind of green enough. It has a green cover. mangoes are within close reach. Those mangoes are going to get to about a kilo or a kilo and a half. They're really large. We have to control how many we get per branch, otherwise we'll pull the branch down and break it. Yeah. And okay, at some stage this floor was of wood, and that's the only thing that I need to restore, because I think out of sheer laziness they just put cement over it. Right. And we need to rectify that because it's going to imbalance the entire building, as it were.
Oh, I see.
We have a couple of things. We have a hat collection, which my partner Jerome collects. Right. We have a whole set of Goan art, which I like to collect. Okay. I think I must have the largest collection of contemporary Goan artists. I don't have the old masters like Souza, right, because I can't afford them. And then we have one wall which I call the Farooq Chotia wall, because he's my favorite photographer and friend, right, and he's photographed all the models who are now big stars. You know, there's Aishwarya and there's Malaika and everyone over there. Now I have a nutcracker collection of antique nutcrackers. Lots of paintings, because I love painting. Right. So in fact, we have lots of paintings in storage, which we keep changing and bringing back on. Right. Yeah. Okay. And when I did this room, I kind of felt that it was a kind of a large room, so we created different seating areas which we could use. Like that's a card playing table. Right. Well, it was supposed to be a card playing table. It's not something that I planned. Right. And then we also threw in elements like to enhance the height of the walls. I threw in gold stripes and painted one wall that has the altar completely gold. So this is the main dining salon of the house. It's one of my favorite rooms because of this tall, wonderful ceiling, which we enhanced because this one wall I had major problems in deciding what would go on it. We tried paintings, we tried sculpture, nothing happened. Right. And then finally we found, through an antique friend of mine, we found an old altar which came from a church. Right. It must be about 220 to 250 years old, from the Mandre church, that fit in very beautifully out there. Amazing. And it kind of just filled the entire room. Yeah. I like also the quality of light because of all the glass skylights. Of course. It kind of filters this almost religious, mystical experience. I don't think I've ever come across a more grander dining room. Well, yeah. Actually, I wanted to be a mix of a dining room and what we call in Goa an oratorio, which is like a prayer room or a chapel inside the house. So I'm quite happy that we succeeded, and since I am still in touch with my Hindu roots, we bought a beautiful Ganesh. It's about a ton carved out of one block of wood from Kerala, I think. And curiously, how many it took 15 people to bring it in. It's a big heavy piece, but it's a wonderful piece. Yeah.
Realty Index, research and analysis, status report,
daily stock watch,
design elements, special economic zones,
banking and finance,
eco spaces, economy, infrastructure,
development models,
an inside view of realty. Up audio.
Hello and welcome to Realty Check.
Realty Check, coming up next, only on Real Estate TV.
What about cuisines, as in, given that you sort of jet set quite a lot, I mean, do you have any particular culinary tastes, or?
Well, I'm a Goan to the core. I love our Goan food.
Amazing.
We get fresh fish from the river. We have our regular fisher people who come and sell it to us.
Okay.
We grow our local vegetables. In fact, at the moment we have a red spinach leaf patch which is growing, which we'll get in about 2 weeks' time. And apart from Goan, I really enjoy French cooking because I have a French partner, and I've been using lots of, because I studied in France, so I appreciate French cuisine.
Right.
A little bit of Chinese, I'm not very partial to it. Italian.
Okay.
Yeah. And I enjoy Japanese food a lot. I think it's it's very creative, it's very stylish, it's very well presented.
Oh, excellent.
And then we have 2 guest bedrooms on this level. There's one which is, I didn't want a room that was ostentatiously, done. It's not my style. I'm a minimalist designer. So there's no like marble and, gold taps in any of the bathrooms. It's a very simple house. I'm more of an artist. So this is a very important Goan artist called Hanuman Kamli. I like the cruciform shape. The sculptures are by a terracotta artist called Veredina Ferrão, who also did for us 2 big sculptures in a public garden or a roundabout in Panjim.
Oh, I see.
And yeah, she's quite, we have a Nirupa Naik over there, which is extremely precious. It's a very tiny picture, but I love it because she has a very Chagall quality, childlike quality to the painting. We need all the rooms, all the windows and doors open the full time because there's no need to close them. It's never closed, always open. Plus, we have Zanzibar and Napoleon to take care of any intruder. Then we have the second bedroom. What's interesting to note is that when the furniture was made, it was actually made at the level of the windows because it was a very clever Goan trick to have it at that height. The beds are much higher than normal because of the fact that the wind would blow in and get straight to the people sleeping on the bed.
Right.
Again, since it was a guest bedroom, we just kept it very starkly Goan. My good friend Ted Mosquito's paintings are up there. His award-winning work. One part of his work, this is a computer-done job. And another painting done by a guy called Wilson D'Souza. He has, considering he has only one eye, it's an incredible amount of detail that goes. It's all very hidden. Yeah.
What about, what would you say is the comfort zone in your house or on the grounds really? Your sort of your favorite spot to sort of hang out at?
My favorite spot actually is really this table, which is in the walkway to the house.
Right.
Because I normally have my breakfast there. I do my creative writing there. I do sketches. So I'm surrounded by the garden, and I have the backdrop of the house as well. So, which I love very dearly. And so yes, I think it would be that table out there which I do my work on.
Right. Now, other than work, what would you say your recreations are? As in, when you're during R&R? What do you love doing?
Well, I go bicycling, I go to the gym, I have lots of artist friends, so I like to hang out with them. It's very interesting, yeah.
Right.
We have small groups of friends over, we entertain quite extensively.
Right.
We have a small boat which we take out almost every evening on the backwater.
Is this close by?
It's actually moored in the city in Panjim.
Right.
Because I have another house there too. This is one of my favorite spots in the house as well. It's a nice sitting area for the night and the day. We had a siesta bed put in, so one can have a siesta. Normally used by Eva the small Dashin, and not by many humans. But when we're entertaining, we kind of convert it into a bar.
Right.
So we can place the bottles and whatever on it, and it looks quite interesting. To show you how old the house is, if you can imagine, this is the older part of the house down here, and the height of the road is approximately where the anthuriums are growing. And when you step into that lower cellar, It's exactly about a meter down from the main road, so it's almost like an excavation pit.
I see.
So that tells you how actually old the house was. Yeah.
Of course.
We put on this wall all the 4 photographs of the models that we could never publish. This is an old what we call a mashil. It's a kind of a palanquin.
Right.
And in the old days, this must be like a 19th or late 18th century piece, because it was used to carry the landlord of the house around to his properties. So what they would do was to put a big bamboo in through there, and 2 guys in the front and 2 guys at the back would carry the landlord through his properties and survey his land. And then there was we had just about a nice spot to do a lap pool. It's like it's 1 or less deep there, but we had I like the space because it kind of fitted into the house. The pool backs over our well. We have an old well, and the well leads into the kitchen.
Right.
So we have one guest bedroom in the garden.
Right.
And then we have a big cellar where we normally keep all the coconuts and the wines and stuff like that.
Right.
And that's it.
Right. Well, if I may ask, I mean, what would another day in the life of Mr. Rodrigues entail? As in, what would you sort of? Well, I don't know if it's even a fair question. Because do you have a routine as such? I mean, let's say when you're.
I think like most people, one does have a routine. I wake up really early. I'm like a village riser, so 5:30.
Oh, right.
Yeah, 5:36. We run the dogs, and then I do my most creative work till about 10:30. So all the illustrations and the writing and all that happens between 6:30 and 10:30.
Right.
About 11 o'clock, I go into town.
Right.
That's after I spend time in my studio here, because I have a studio in the village.
Right.
In another house. And then I either I gym or do a game of squash, and then I have lunch in my city house.
Right.
In the afternoon, then I go to my shop, because there's a lot of administration work to be done. Check out the emails, admin paperwork, and then meet the customers in the shop, because I like to meet them in the shop.
Right.
You should go and get the shots of the shop as well, because
Oh,
it's in a very old heritage part of Panjim. It's called
Right, we love
Kampal.
to.
Yeah, it's in an old. It's not very old as in a house. It must be about now 80 years old.
Right.
But it's a very beautiful house and very well done up place where I have done the shop in the Wendell Rodrigues philosophy. There's one room which is a white room, which
Right.
is my favorite color. There's another room which is a men's room, and a third room which has got all the brightly colored garments and linens and silks, but hung according to size.
Right.
So contrary to popular opinion, we have the smallest size, which is the smallest rack.
What would you say is your favorite form of music? As in, when you had to listen to something, what would you say is your favorite style or genre? Or
But being a Goan, I love all kinds of music. You know, Goans are very musical. I play the guitar myself, and we are very musical. So I think it's one area where I can't say I have a favorite. I enjoy all kinds. I enjoy Western and Hindi classical. I enjoy pop. I enjoy rock, and I even enjoy hip hop. So
excellent.
I'm a music lover in the truest sense of the Goan word.
So what would you say is you've been listening to consistently, let's say in the past week? What's been the track that you've heard the most?
In the past week, I've been listening to Dido and Amy Winehouse.
All right, excellent. Well, I must say, so it was an absolute pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
And wish you all the best in your forthcoming
And to you
endeavors.
too. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
As you can see, Mr. Rodrigues has paid a lot of attention to detail when it came to the house and its grounds. And to be fair, it's rather simplistic. And it's that simplicity that's lended to the consequential grandeur. And well, it was very kind of Mr. Rodrigues, who's extremely hospitable. That brings us to the end of another episode of Home is Where the Heart Is. Until next time, this is Manoj Nair, signing out.